Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another Howl Photocon photo stream. I'm your host, Bongo. Sorry, there's a little bit of an echo there. Not anymore. Hey everybody, it's me, Bongo. Welcome back. Howl is 2 weeks away, very close. It's coming up. It's going to be an amazing time. November 3, 4, and 5. We're getting ready for it, and to drum up some excitement, Steve had a great idea of asking some of his good friends to see if anybody wanted to present their best birds in flight photos. So today we're going to be hearing from Ken and from Jen as well. And right now I have Jen Howard on the line. How are you doing today, Jen?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for submitting these photos. And I'm just so excited to hear the stories behind them. Are you an avid birder?
I more of a photographer than a birder, but I take on just about anything I can find.
Of course. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, sometimes you see more birds than anything else, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they're all appreciated.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, even as we were preparing for this photo stream, I had to get all the species names from you, and I was very impressed that just your wide knowledge of all of these bird species. So, you had me convinced that you were a birder.
Well, I've done a lot of different surveys, and that's where a few of these pictures came from,
Yeah,
like years ago.
very cool, very cool.
Slowed down a bit now,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, the first one that we have up here, these are two, and I'm not going to pretend that I knew this right off the. I mean, the bald eagle, the adult bald eagle, that's a giveaway. I do know that the juvenile bald eagles don't have the white head, but when I first looked at this photo, I couldn't identify the second bird as a juvenile, but that's in fact what it is, right, Jen?
Yes, it is. I was actually monitoring an eagle's nest, and so this is a first year
Wow.
eaglet, and not that long out of the nest actually, and they were just doing a flight together. I was out in the water monitoring them in a boat, so it was pretty cool to watch them.
Wow.
And
And
they had three successful eaglets that year.
wow. And what are they doing exactly? Are they having fun and flying around, or are they hunting?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the parents are teaching them,
Cool.
and they did talon touching, and the parent was fishing and stuff like that. So I think most of this is a learning curve for
Wow.
teaching the little guys,
Yeah.
not so little.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard enough to get one bird in flight, but the fact that you have more than one, I mean, that's especially with such a unique display of behavior. I mean, I can't say that I've ever seen two eagles, especially an adult and a juvenile, both interacting with each other in midair like this. I mean,
yeah,
that's such a cool moment.
yeah. It was, and it was quite a few of them because I watched them right from little bobbleheads. Like you could just barely see them, and then
Yeah.
to the flight, like the fledging, and pretty much until they left.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Wow. Well, definitely one of the most iconic raptors of North America,
Hmm.
and you've really got such a unique representation of the animal right here. Wow.
Thank you.
All right. What do we have next here?
So
We have I believe these are trumpeter swans, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, again, this is in a nesting area. Um, but what I liked about this shot is it's an early morning shot with the mist there,
Yeah.
and with those. I mean, they're such elegant birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was lucky to get that shot. I do a lot of constant shooting, so that you're bound to get something good out of what you're shooting when they're active like this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really liked that shot.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, we're shooting in digital, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like you're burning through film.
No.
Yeah. One of the things that I really enjoy about this photo too is how the wings of the trumpeter swan almost turn into like a softbox or something because of the
Yeah.
light that's illuminating through the feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah. It
and
was just the perfect timing.
it was, and I love we have an upside down V and then a V, right?
Hmm.
So there's like a really neat counter symmetry there as
Yeah.
well. What a great
Yeah.
moment.
That was nice.
Yeah, and this is morning, you say?
Yes.
Morning. Well, I'm more of a night owl and not an early bird, so
Yeah. I know. I am now.
yeah, yeah, you are now. Yeah. Well,
More. Yeah.
I'm gonna rely on you to get all of the early morning activity because I'm gonna be sleeping in. Awesome. No, that's just great. And also, by the way, if you wanted to check out Jen's website, it's in the bottom right corner, natureworksphotography.blogspot.com. Okay, and I know that you've got a few owls in your presentation here, but this one is a great gray owl, correct?
Yes. These. I guess it was in 2005 and six, somewhere in around there. We had an influx of great gray owls coming down.
Okay.
I'm in Innisfil, and I did part of I joined in a survey, and this was one of them that I saw. He was right off the side of the road near where I live. So between 5 o'clock in the morning and I'd say noonish, we
Mm-hmm.
counted 28 of them, which
Wow.
was very cool. But
Wow.
this is one of my favorite pictures because it's zoomed in and it's cropped,
Yeah.
but he was just flying right at me.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. This I would love to have a photo like this in my portfolio. I do not, but you're right. And the thing that's so captivating to me is that the face of the owl is pretty much frozen by the shutter, but then the wings
Yeah.
are moving so quickly. I love how the wings are blurred, but the face isn't. And then you've got the snow on top of that. So
Yeah.
I even like those twigs in behind too. It's what a neat image.
Well, like I'm not one of these people who want a perfect shot. Um, the branches and stuff, that's all part of nature.
Of course.
And obviously, you don't want them in front of the subject, but I think that's just the way it should look. It's a
Yeah.
natural shot.
Yeah, it puts it
So
more into context.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he was just flying from tree to tree at that point, so
Wow.
it was pretty cool.
Amazing. Yeah, 28 owls. I might see 2 owls in a year. Like,
Yeah, and those were all great grays.
wow.
So in
Yeah.
fact, I was standing at the side of the road with my 500, and I was waiting for a shot,
Yeah.
and a police officer stopped.
Yeah.
And he says, "Is everything all right?" And I went, "Not now." I says, "I'm about to get a shot of an owl in flight." And he knew I was talking to him. So I missed it. But
Uh,
good for him for seeing if I was okay.
yeah. 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 Yeah.
But yeah, you always have comical moments, right?
Yeah, and hey, I mean, I love photo presentations to hear the backstory as we've just
Yeah.
heard. Yeah. And then up next, this is a snowy owl that now was it going toward the post?
Yes.
Cool,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. She was flying in from the field and landed up on the post in front of me.
Wow. And is this also in the Orangeville or Innisfil area?
No, this is north of Innisfil.
Yeah.
And this is quite a few years ago again. You don't see as many of them up there now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're I think the farmers got a little annoyed at a lot of people for coming and viewing these owls because there were so many of them that year.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of cameras pointing in the wrong directions. But I never really got out of my car too often, and I just sat there with my windows down and I just watched them at a distance. I find with any of these birds, if you learn to watch, like learn about their behavior,
Mm-hmm.
um, you can tell when one of these guys is going to fly,
Mm-hmm.
and just sit in your car so you're not bothering them.
Yeah.
Sit at a distance. You've got the zoom lens. You don't need to get up close to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, let them do their thing, because hunting for an owl or any of these raptors is critical that they don't get interfered with.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I love every word that you just spoke. Howl, of course, is very ethically minded, and our whole goal is to grow a community of ethically minded photographers. And every single thing that you just said right there, I wish that all photographers thought like that. Don't disturb the animals, don't interfere with them,
Yeah.
give them a lot of space, and also don't annoy humans as well. Be
That can be
respectful of.
bad.
Yeah, that's right. Like, be respectful of people's land and all that kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because there was a farmer out there that she actually took off after some photographers
Hmm.
with a shovel,
With a shovel.
because they were trespassing on her property.
Yeah.
They caused one of her calves. Her cow was calving, and the calf died. So
No.
that's their livelihood. And because these guys didn't listen, they wanted to get the owl, and they didn't care how they did it. So
Uh
that
though.
went wrong for so many reasons, and then
Yeah.
all of us became not welcome.
That
So
and yeah, that it does upset me when photographers get known for that negative behavior,
yeah,
right? And then some people, whenever they see anybody with a camera, make those assumptions that, oh, that's just a trespassing photographer that's gonna feed animals and interfere with their mating or whatever,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
uh, good on you for doing it the right way, but
It's the only way.
it is the only way. It should be the only way. Yeah, and I hope
Yeah.
all those other rude photographers, I don't know what else we want to call them, but yeah, just
Well, I got words.
yeah. Just be kind and be ethical. Yeah, Richard Mann is here. Richard says ruins it for the rest of us. I know.
It does.
It
It
does,
does.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
And
trying.
and
Oh,
this
go.
is proof that I'm just sitting there being patient, and you can get these beautiful pictures.
Yeah,
And
that's
it could
right.
take hours, days, whatever. I mean, you're not always going to get them. They can sit there. These birds can sit on a post for a long time.
Yeah.
But if you pick the right time of day, you get to know what they're doing, and you sit at it, as I said, a distance, stay in your car, and it all works out.
Yep. Exactly. All right. And now I'm looking at the next photo here. Sandhill cranes, and is this also a farm field?
Sandhill cranes is, yeah, it's in the Minising area, farm fields up there. They migrate through there every year in the
Hmm.
spring and fall. And what if you catch them out there? There can be 1,000 of them.
No way.
It's just timing. Like, you just don't know
Wow.
if they're going to be there or not. Or you might see two of them, but I have seen up to 1,000 of them. And
Wow.
they start flying again 4 o'clock in the afternoon, kind of thing, coming into the fields or changing fields, and they'll do their dancing. It's quite the sight to see.
Wow.
So that's what these guys. I think that was in December that I took that shot,
Yeah.
but there wasn't any snow, and those guys stayed quite late,
Yeah.
like into mid-December or so. That they were
Hmm.
feeding in the farm fields.
Wow. It's mesmerizing to look at so many of them. and, and,
It,
and
it
and just as they're taking off in flight, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the sound as well is pretty amazing.
Wow. Yeah, actually
Was this
speak
was this near Highway 26?
Yes.
Yeah. Cowboy with the camera and I were there last year.
Hmm.
There was thousands of them. Not
Wow.
not 1,000. It was scary how many there were.
Oh wow! I didn't get up. I haven't been up there for a few years,
Yeah.
but that would be nice to see and hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Cowboy with the camera, Cowboy is here on the stream saying, I heard them flying over my property this afternoon.
Nice.
So how timely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is migration time, right?
Yep.
So they're probably all on their way south.
Yeah.
Super. Now, the next photo in your presentation here, this beautiful sunset silhouette here, is this also a migration, do you think?
No, this is a snowy owl. They come down here. She is a migrator, but that was, I think that was
No,
taken.
this is the one with the geese.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's how many?
Did you
Two.
not say snowy? I'm sorry, I
no,
can't see what's
okay.
going on.
Uh,
So the sunset is Canada geese. Yeah.
the sunset is Canada geese. Got you. Okay, yeah.
And I don't know what you're looking at. I had some technical difficulties. I cannot see what's going on. But yeah, that was taken late in the evening, and it was just a shot that I just needed to have because it was just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Silhouette.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
what a silhouette. Just the pattern of them all too.
Yeah. And the sunset in itself is gorgeous. So
Yeah,
that's just a bonus, right?
that's right. You can, if you remove the geese, it would still be a great sunset photo.
Yeah.
But the geese just add so much more to it. Yeah.
They do.
Now, do you know what time of year this was when you took this one? They're not migrating, are they?
No, I think I think it might have been late summer, early fall.
Okay.
Toronto area.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Hey, photography is the best reason to travel around, especially locally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and you did say that there was another snowy owl. This one is portrait style here, and we can really see the beautiful underneath of the wings here.
Okay. So this is your short-eared owl.
I'm so sorry. My
That's
mistake.
okay.
This is the short-eared. my apologies.
That's okay. It's hard to tell really because she was flying right over top. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and all of a sudden these owls just came out of nowhere, and there was half a dozen of them, and they were hiding in the trees on this farmer's property. So they all just started flying right over top of us, and I was surprised I got that because they were pretty close.
Wow.
Just hunting. They were focused on the job at hand, to catch their mice and stuff. So it was pretty incredible. And I know our mouths were dropped just because they just came out of nowhere. So yeah, again, just the right time.
Multiple owls. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
and watch them into the sunset. So it was pretty cool.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Corey Campbell says that was an epic trip west of Toronto.
Yes, she was with me.
Corey was with you. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And Kenny says hello to Richard as well. Awesome. Oh, very cool. Okay, now is the snowy owl, and this is the really, really cool one where the sunlight is hitting the underneath
Yes.
of the feathers. Very cool.
And
Okay.
that's again, that was around 5 in the afternoon, and the sun was going down, and
Yeah.
I was just sitting in my car in a parking lot, and I just, because she started doing that, being alert, look to her, and I'm thinking, okay, she's going to fly, and sure enough, she did. So I had my camera ready for that. And yeah, the sunset the sun just picked up from underneath her. It was beautiful.
That's so cool.
So that is one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah. Cowboy with
She's not standing out, like the features aren't standing out, but it's just the way the sun caught it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally agree. Yeah, Cowboy says beautiful, and Richard also says love the light on the snowy.
Thank you.
Okay, and then up next we have a hawk owl with a successful catch here.
Yes. So
Northern hawk owl, right?
northern hawk owl.
Yeah.
And that was north of me, about an hour north of me, and I just happened on it. And yeah, my son was with me. We just kind of sat on a stump there and watched it preen on top. It was the most perfect clear day.
Mhm.
Sun was shining on it. It was just perfect. A little bright, but the pictures turned out okay.
Yeah.
and yeah, she managed to fly down and catch a very large vole.
It's huge.
Yeah,
It's as big as
very.
the.
So
It's the size of the owl's head, practically.
yeah, and that's the first time I saw a northern hawk owl, I didn't even know what it was, and it was near
Yeah.
where I live years ago, and so and it was funny because I said it looks like a hawk or it looks like an owl, like I don't know what it was, and then years later I realized there's actually a northern hawk owl, and
Yeah.
you don't see them very often. I guess Algonquin had one last year or a couple years ago, um, but yeah, they're gorgeous. They're not huge.
Hmm.
But again, if they're out there and people report them on Facebook, then they're harassed. Huge
I
amounts.
know. Yeah. So for everybody out there that is ethical, don't tell the whole world where the owls are.
No, it
You
really. I
know,
mean, if you happen on them, you're really really lucky.
you're very lucky.
But
And
don't tell everybody.
yeah, yeah. Like Richard had a comment at the very beginning of the stream, ruins it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's too bad that there's a few people in the group and that will overstep the boundary of the animal, right?
Hmm.
And so, and I think even on apps, on citizen science apps like eBird, I think that if you report an owl, they make the location vague, or they delay the timing of the report as well, because it just like you said, it's turned into this thing where if an owl gets reported, then hordes of people will come there, and not everybody is on their best behavior when that happens.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's the same with animals, like foxes especially.
Same. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
goes on with them and when they're have their families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And coyotes.
that's why we do this. That's why we felt it was really important to spread the right message.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough to get a bird in flight, but then a bird in flight with prey. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment.
And again, I learned how to read them,
Yeah.
so I kind of knew that it was getting ready to make a flight because I didn't see the vole. Obviously, it was under the snow, but
Yeah.
it really hit hard and it came up with it. So I was happy to see that it
Yeah.
got a good meal there.
Yeah, I know. And amazing that they can hear or smell a tiny
Yeah.
little creature like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And the next one that we're looking at here, these are gulls. Am I correct?
Right. And that's a glaucous gull and a immature herring gull.
Is the immature herring in the back a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Because the glaucous gull is quite a large gull.
Yeah.
I've only actually seen very few of them.
Okay.
And so this kind of to me was showing you the size difference because a herring gull is very large too.
Okay.
But now it's in front, so it's looking to be a little bigger. But yeah, the size difference was quite amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get the two of them together like that was pretty
Yeah. This moment is really poetic. Where were you for this one?
in Barrie.
This is in
Waterfront.
Barrie. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we do get some interesting birds come through every now and again.
Yeah.
And I don't pay mind to that. Like, I don't go looking, but if I'm down there and something is out there, I'm obviously going to look for it and see if I am lucky enough to get a picture of it.
Yeah.
So we've had Jaegers and stuff like that go through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mesmerizing. And I love the interaction between the, I mean, they're probably not interacting with each other, but visually when I look at it, you know, I sense kind of like a synergy between the two, just with the way that they're shaped
Yeah.
against each other. Very cool.
Now, if one of them had a fish, there would have been some action.
Yes. Yes.
How gulls go.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Mine.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, another two birds here, and these are pelicans. Are these regular pelicans or are these exotic pelicans?
brown pelicans, I was down in Fripp Island with that shot,
Yeah.
just South Carolina, and we had a lot of pelicans around. And I just love this shot because I love the whole composition of it
Yeah.
and the background and everything, and it
Yeah.
came out so clear for me. So that's why I put this one in, because I just love that shot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Beautiful animals, and they look pretty big.
They are. They're pretty big,
Like
yeah.
their wingspan looks to be as big as those trees in behind them. Like almost
Well,
bigger.
I'm not sure what their wingspan is, but it's I'd say it's got to be 4 feet.
Yeah, it looks
I mean, they're
terrifyingly
pretty
big.
big.
Very
I've
big.
seen them up close, standing, but obviously when they're out flying, they're kind of at a distance. But yeah, they're a pretty big bird
Wow.
and interesting to watch because they're very comical.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
way they eat and yeah.
And this was in the Carolinas, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's probably a great birding location.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even had deer on the beach there. I mean, it was just incredible, and alligators, and Fripp Island was amazing. I'd love to go back there.
Yeah.
It's a gated island, so it's pretty cool.
Wow. Beautiful shot. Oh, okay. And here we have another bald eagle from above, like way
Carrying a
above.
fish.
Carrying a fish. Yes.
Yeah, now that's not like a great shot, but I just loved it, and it was overexposed and everything. I worked with it, but just I didn't even know he had a fish in his talons at the time I took it. But where I live, we do have a family, and
Yeah.
so I was lucky to be able to hide and take pictures because they did not tolerate me being there.
Yeah.
And so I hid myself in the bushes and stuck the camera out there and got some great shots of them.
Wow.
And this guy came in with a fish, so it's not the same family that the first eagle. It's
Okay.
a different one. But yeah, I just love the way that shot turned out. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's unique because it's almost like you're directly underneath the bird,
yeah,
and I feel like it's looking right at you as well.
you might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, you it's hard to fool an eagle. They know what's
Yeah.
going on down below them, I'm sure.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. It's just you got to be very still and very quiet.
Yeah. No, the way this all came together, I think, is brilliant. And
Thank you.
and I love how you said that this was an image that wasn't perfect, but then you really touched it up in post production, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of even if you have your B sides, hold on to them, see if you can fix them up later, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I just love that picture.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And
You know,
yeah, sometimes the picture doesn't have to be technically perfect in order for it to be perfect to you, right?
no.
Right.
And it was at an odd angle to take pictures up, right straight up into the sky. And it
Very
was
odd. Yeah, very unique in my opinion.
not a blue sky or anything like that. It was kind of
Yeah.
overcast, and
Yeah.
yeah, he was just an amazing shot. I didn't want to miss that one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. That is just
Yeah.
fantastic. And I think that's the final photo of your presentation here today. So thank you so much. And everybody out there, if you want to check out more from Jen Howard, it's natureworksphotography.blogspot.com. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right.
Jen.
That was
Awesome.
very delightful.
Very good.
All right. And we have another presenter today, and that would be Ken. Are you there on the call?
I am here. Hello, people.
All right. Let me get your images. So you've got 7 images here, 7 images of birds in flight. And we're going to jump into this. And also, before we get started, I'm just going to remind everybody, you can find more of Ken's photos on Instagram. The handle is at true_north_image. True North Image. That's where you can find more from Ken McCormick. Okay, so you're gonna have to tell me. I went over with Jen what all of the bird species are. I'm just gonna let you talk about all the species. So
Okay, so this is sorry.
yeah, what are we looking at here?
This is an American kestrel.
Okay.
Really hard bird to get a photo of. This here is taken at the Canadian Raptor Conservancy.
Yeah.
Go there just to practice on getting my speed with the wildlife birds and everything. It works perfect for timing and everything. If nobody's ever been there or they want to be a birder, go there. You'll learn your timing, everything that you need to know, and how to shoot a bird. Watch its, just watch how they act, how they take off to go to fly. I know like snowies will usually poop before they take off and fly.
They give you a little warning.
Yep, this guy here, he's a member of the falcon family.
Yeah.
Because he has the stripes under the eyes.
Cool. I'm gonna zoom in.
This is one of my favorite birds. It's one of the smallest, but one of the most vicious birds you'll meet in the wild.
It's so sharp.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
It was taken with a 1:600 lens that I have, a Sony.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Small
and vicious, you said, right?
all vicious and fast.
Small, vicious, and fast. I feel like those are really advantageous traits to have as an animal.
Yes.
Yeah.
This guy will take down a lot larger birds than you would think of after you see the size of it.
Wow. That's just amazing. And where's the Raptor Conservatory located?
So it's located in Norfolk County.
Okay.
I am going to be running my own Raptor Conservancy out of Baysville.
Your own?
My own.
Your own. Well, congratulations. Yep. That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm going to be doing educational purposes, and I'm also going to be doing photo sessions and traveling with the birds to schools and stuff.
Wow.
Just want to bring notice to why we need these birds out in the wild still, and why people need to. A lot of people don't understand, like owls, for instance, they lay eggs in late February to the beginning of March, and
yeah,
we live up north now, right? And the seasons up here are short, so when the ground starts to thaw, people want to start taking down their trees and all that stuff, and just certain times of the day, certain times of the years where we can't just start taking the trees down, whether it be clear cutting or just on your personal property.
Yeah.
For instance, owls, they just take over other nests and then they lay their eggs.
Yeah.
And, we just got to watch out for how they nest. Usually it's an open top tree.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand. We had a big turnout in Timmins last year. Did 6 shows in 3 days, had about 150 people per show.
Wow.
And a lot of them are people in the mining industry, people in the forestry industry, MNRF were there. And we also show them how to handle the birds if they fall out of a tree or look like they've fallen out of a tree. Most of the time, an owl could climb its way back up the tree. It necessarily didn't fall. It just tried its first flight, didn't make it, and sat there for a bit. Most owls, they have the talons to climb right back up that tree.
Wow. And how far along are you with the launch of your conservancy?
Dealing with townships because I lived in Guelph.
Yeah.
So I realized getting permits up here, it's a little bit more difficult than getting permits down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going over, getting certain amendments done, certain allowances.
Yeah.
It's coming along. I have most of my mews built for them. That's the housing for the birds.
Yeah.
You got to meet special sizing and everything.
Oh, yeah.
For a bald eagle.
Yeah.
You have to have a 10 by 10.
Yeah.
By like 10 feet. Other birds, 6 by 6, 8 by 8s.
Yeah.
So I'm building all these homes
Wow.
for them and everything. And Yeah, it's just a long process. I just moved up here, not even just over a month ago.
Oh my God. Well,
So
congratulations again. How exciting is
thanks.
that? And now,
Well, I get to
so,
be.
sorry, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say I'm just closer to the park and you guys, right? So
I mean, that's why I live in Whitney. I'm a stone's throw away.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Baysville is great as well. You got
Oh
the
yeah,
Lake of Bays Brewing right there, and Huntsville is what,
yeah,
20 minutes away, 15 minutes away?
yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
that's so cool. Now, so I know that you post to True North Image. Do you have a social
Yeah.
media account for your up and coming conservancy?
It is coming.
It's coming.
Gonna be
That's
the
okay.
It's gonna be the Muskoka Raptor Conservancy.
Muskoka
We're just
Raptor Conservancy. Very cool. Okay.
yeah. So we don't have. I'm just in the middle of doing my website. I just went and got my business license and my HST license and so much that I didn't know you needed. But
Yeah. Have you been an
slowly learning.
entrepreneur before?
No, I've been a factory worker since the age of 16 to 47.
Wow, you've gone through the metamorphosis of the ages. That good for you. Honestly, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
I work for myself. I started working for myself around 2010, and I could not go back to the other style of life. I love being an entrepreneur though. Like you've realized, with all the permits and everything, all the startup stuff, you get all the startup stuff, and then just to keep the thing running, it's
Yeah.
you have to love it. But I mean, I feel like most entrepreneurs pursue these things because they love it anyways, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
so that'll give you the extra energy, to keep going. Richard says,
yeah.
great lighting. Richard is super excited for you. And Richard also says, it's not easy. No, it is not. So yeah, very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, let's go on to the second photo here. Sorry, I was just so excited by all of that news. A new Raptor Conservancy in Muskoka. That's so cool. Okay, wow. Another beautiful bird in flight here.
So this one was taken at Guelph Lake.
Guelph Lake, okay.
I lived just around. I lived around the corner for 13 years, and
Yeah.
over the last 3 years, there's been a family that kind of just took over.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about it. Everybody who I've talked to asked, they're like, how do you know there's bald eagles around? I'm like, well, I'm not telling you. You'll just see them flying around or out on the ice. And this guy I was actually going to get the photos of Osprey, and this guy just came popping out. And I was just like, I shook my head twice, and I'm like, I'm going to get a photo of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nailed
And
it.
yeah, he's you can tell the age of bird. So if you zoom in, his eyes aren't that dark. So he's a younger bird.
Really? Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
So the older a bird gets, the darker the eyes get. So that's another way you can tell how young either an eagle is. Like a bald eagle takes 5 years to get a full head of a white head.
Yeah.
So this guy's pretty young. His
Mhm.
eyes are not dark yet, and pretty healthy for living in Guelph for 14 years and never seeing a bald eagle to the last 3 years to 4 years having the families come back and thrive the way they have.
That's
And
great.
It's actually pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that when animals make a comeback, right? And I
Yeah.
wish more people would feel the same way about that.
Well, it's just exciting. Like
It is, yeah.
I've had the pleasure of having these land on my arm, and
Wow.
you just to see them in the sky, it's awe. But when you have this bird that's 14 pounds come land on your arm, and wearing a glove, and you can still feel like this bird here can literally almost crush your skull.
Wow.
It's almost 800 psi grip.
Wow.
So think about that. That's why these birds can grab a deer and flip it just shred things apart.
Yeah.
Like they're magnificent creatures.
The word is magnificent. Yeah, just absolutely magnificent. And just well captured. Very well captured.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very cool.
The editing made it look a little bit better.
Yeah. Great pose. All right. The next bird up here. This is obviously an owl. You tell me more about this one.
So this is great horned owl. This is also from the Canadian Raptor Conservancy.
Yeah.
This bird is a pretty famous bird. His name's Oliver.
Okay.
He's been in a ton of movies. He's actually starred in the last season of Vikings.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And he is a character. He talks nonstop, and he's a pet, man. He just wants attention all the time.
Wow.
And he knows the camera. He'll sit there and pose for hours.
Wow.
He knows
Yeah.
exactly what you're doing.
Is Oliver also is Oliver aware of the rule of thirds? Because Oliver's nailing the rule of thirds right here as well.
I told him, like, hey, you gotta fly over to
Like it's right on the point of interest.
Yeah, that was editing.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
No, it's like I said, this photo's really old. Probably about 4 years old. I've been going there for about 5 years because I started my apprenticeship and all that to become a falconer.
Wow.
And since I wanted to do the the part of it because I love doing photos, I had to learn the educational part.
Cool.
And then the photography just. I'm not saying I'm a pro or anything because it's obviously the bird knows what to do.
Yeah.
But it's just for me to be able to teach somebody when they come to the property or I'm out at the schools or whatever and they want to do like photo ops and whatnot. Just for me to be able to tell people like, I love wing blur and sometimes I don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in how you want to do your photos. Like I have a couple really cool photos with all you see is the body of the bird and the rest of it's like blurred. I'm like, that looks so trippy. Right?
Yeah.
And but just like I know a lot of old school people are like, no, I don't want wing blur. I don't want wing blur. What's the shutter I gotta get and everything. So for me, just to help people do that, but also give them an education on the purpose of these birds. This bird's very territorial as well. Like if you're walking around its nest, he or she will let you know to stay away from that area. They will dive bomb you. No intent to hurt, but most likely in the end will. I don't know if you read last year, I believe it was in Killbear, where 5 people were sent to hospital because they would not leave the great horned owl alone, and it attacked 5 people and got sent to the hospital.
Wow.
In the parks, there's more people that go to the hospital because of an owl than they actually get sent to because of a bear.
Yeah, respect the owls, okay? Like, yeah.
They're not called birds of prey for no reason, right?
Yeah. Wow, and I love how kudos to you for beginning an apprenticeship in falconry. I mean, like that's and then you've got your photography on top of that, right? So to have like the knowledge of the birds and then to be able to represent them in photography, I feel like that's just such something great that you bring to the table of conservancy.
Yeah.
Super cool.
We've done pretty good things over the last 2 years. We helped populate the peregrine falcon population down in Burlington.
Oh, amazing.
They were pretty much gone out of that area, and we at that, not me because I need another 2 years before I'm allowed to hatch.
Yeah.
But down there, they hatch them and release them out into to the wild. There's no government funding or anything. It's all basically like your money.
Yeah.
And if you put in a bid to help with conservancy,
Yeah.
then you can get something back from them. But most of the time, all the feeding, all the housing, everything you do with them is out of pocket. There's
Wow.
no help, even if we're trying to do the best that we can do to
Yeah.
keep these out in the wild.
Yeah. Wow. Well, at Howell, we're having Bear With Us, which is a bear sanctuary, and it's very similar with them. I mean, they don't receive any government funding at all. It's basically a registered charity. So so yeah, you know, we feel good about having them at the convention because, you know, we're basically supporting the sanctuary, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
so then,
And that's what the photography sessions are, and going to schools and everything that
yeah.
like for that money goes to help with the housing, the food.
Yeah.
You know, like just like anything, a pet, I have like probably 4 or 5 truckloads of pea gravel I gotta wash
Yeah.
and recirculate back into them and everything, but it takes a long process to dry it and everything. And I gotta know the health of these birds. I had to take a little course on checking their cleanliness and make sure how they're healthy and everything. I gotta check their wings, their breastbone, their talons.
Cool.
I have to hire a vet every month to come and give them a vaccine, or certain times of it, like the avian flu was going around last year, so we weren't allowed to do certain feed them certain foods. Their diet is chicken feet. But with the avian flu, you kind of have to go into more of an expensive area and splurge on them. But, you know, it's like I splurge on my steak, so why wouldn't I splurge on some good food?
Well, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you are building a bond with these animals, and I mean, you're doing 100%. A good thing. You're doing a good thing, right? So, yeah. Wow. So cool. Okay. The image after that one, am I looking at an owl that's basically sitting on its prey?
It is, yes.
Wow.
This is a northern hawk owl.
Okay.
And it caught a dove midair.
What?
So that is a mourning dove.
Wow.
That it was actually kind of still alive, and like it just started like just squeezing the life out of it.
Wow.
Somebody with a camera was there with me on this one.
Yeah.
And so this was before the hype of the Schomburg.
The infamous Schomburg owl. Yeah.
Yes. That bird got harassed like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah, I heard it became a little tragic. Yeah.
It was gross.
Come on, people.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, this guy, he's I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but he stayed around a long time. He had his food all cached up, and probably stayed longer than he should have. The town did its best to try and get people away from it.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do when 400 or 500 people show up? Right? Like you put up.
Once the genie's out of the bottle, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, so is this typical behavior of a northern hawk owl, where it will basically hunt in a chosen territory for a week or more, and it just hangs out there?
The typical behavior of a northern hawk owl is not to be in Schomburg.
Right.
Like, that's extremely south for a boreal owl.
Right.
So his behavior was, and here's another thing, but with owls, I'm not 100% sure if it's with all owls, but I know with certain owls, as well as snowies, they will leave the area where they live to go and die.
Oh.
Yeah, because if there's something they, if it's not old age, they're dying because they ate something and it might be toxic to other birds.
Oh,
So they will leave. So the other birds don't
wow.
eat it.
So it's kind of a survival protection
Yes.
mechanism, I guess. Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
They will die somewhere else. Interesting.
It will die somewhere else. Now, I don't know the outcome of this owl.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed pretty healthy. Like,
Mhm.
it had a lot of food stored up.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we really don't track owls all that well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for him to be in Schaumburg, mystery. Like, further south, it should have came was, even to find one in Barrie or Algonquin Park is kind of odd.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even I was fortunate enough to see the Algonquin Park one, and that was during, I forget if it was 2020 or 2021, and we didn't tell anybody. So I think that it went unharassed for the most part. I think it was a very small group of people that visited it, and yes, I was aware of the fact that it was pretty unique for it to be even in Algonquin.
Yeah, like North Bay is probably, I would think, the further south they would come.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, I've seen them up at my hunting camp in Matachewan,
Okay.
which is like well north of you guys. Still, it's like
Oh, yeah.
5 hours away from me still.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple there, and like, but I'm in the middle of nowhere, right? Like,
Yeah.
I see a lot of things up there that,
Wow.
like down this way, it would just be weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the joys of birding, is that when you get these territory discrepancies or habitat discrepancies, it's always huge news for birders.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and then then it like even like you were just creating all these hypotheses about, like, well, why is it here, and then it can, is it an indication of something going on in the environment on the whole, or
Yeah.
is it because
and that's just it.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like, it could be the environment. Like, a lot of people get confused on why snowy owls come south.
Mhm.
Well, not all owls are night or nocturnal. Not all. Like, I think there's only 20% of owls in North America are nocturnal. All of them are day hunters. Any owl that has the retina and the coloring
Mm-hmm.
is a day hunter.
Okay.
So snowies leave the north because the food goes too far down the ground, and the light, the time of day up there, like, they got 24 hours of darkness for
Right.
like 4 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So for a day hunter, it's pretty hard to look for your food when you can't see,
Yeah.
and it's like 6, 7, 8 inches under the ground. So you go south.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
That's what they do.
And it had nothing to do with, like, the global warming aspect of it, or the food. There's not enough food source and all that. It has nothing to do with that. They're day hunters. 4 months out of the year, it's dark. It's like, I don't know, like, because I've been in Algonquin Park a lot. That's like going outside right now, not familiar with my property, and going into the 5 acres into the woods and then trying to find my house with the lights off. I'm not gonna find it. It's too dark,
Yeah.
and I'm not familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. And poor mourning dove will mourn the mourning dove. Yeah.
The other ones are mourning for it.
Yeah. Okay, here's the next one right here. Ooh, we're looking at this bird from the back, and I can't ID it. Please tell me about this one.
This is our friendly raven.
It looks
No,
purple almost. Isn't that?
There's such a metallic sheen to
Yeah.
ravens. Unbelievable.
That is, you used the word trippy earlier. That is trippy.
So this is our friendly raven that scares the crap out of me every time I walk down the Mizzy Trail.
Oh, okay. That raven. Yeah.
That raven.
Everybody
Yes,
knows.
one that follows you everywhere.
Yeah, that raven is famous.
So this, I wanted just to show the colors of the feathers. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable, the sheen, the purple, and for the most part of it, like I love football, and the Baltimore Ravens are purple, and I never understood why they're purple.
You're right.
And now I understand why they're purple.
Wow.
But yeah, like the coloring, the sheen, it's just crazy, the pearlescence in it.
That's so cool. It looks
And
like
we discovered
armor.
that yeah.
So
And we
neat.
discovered for the University of Guelph that it was the ravens stealing the turtle eggs, not the foxes. We literally caught this guy
Wow.
digging with his beak.
This raven.
Digging. They had this exact raven. The university had these little things over the turtle eggs.
Yeah.
He's in there just digging with his beak like a shovel. Grabbed the egg and flew away with it. I even have a photo of it with the egg in its mouth.
Wow.
And I showed the University of Guelph because they're the ones marking all the turtles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I showed them, I'm like, yeah, you don't have a fox problem. You have a raven problem.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, you wouldn't think that birds dug necessarily. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe there is a species of bird that is known for digging a lot, but in general, I don't really assume that they, foxes, sure, they dig holes all the time, right? But birds?
yeah, like,
Fascinating.
It's kind of different than a bird of prey because a bird of prey always hunts with its talons. That's the difference between a
Right.
bee eater and a bird of prey. A bird of prey always kills with its talons, where like robins, blue jays, ravens, they always pick up their food with their beak.
Yeah. Corvid, is that the right word for that subspecies?
Yes.
Corvid, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I guess blue jays fall into that category too, which maybe most people didn't know, but yeah,
Yeah.
very cool, very, very cool. That purple color is just mind blowing.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's crazy.
The details, and this is why photography is great. Like these tiny little details pop up. Okay.
So
Let's
this was a bird that was injured. Get this. 35 years ago.
Oh,
This bird is 36 years old.
wow.
This is a red-tailed hawk.
Wow.
He got a concussion, and he can't see out of one of his eyes.
Wow.
So during the release program, this bird can't be released because it will never survive in the wild. So it is this bird just turned 36 in March.
That's unbelievable.
So, and it is one of the most friendliest red-tailed hawks ever. Gorgeous bird. It was funny because it's actually like when I first met this bird, and the owner was like, "Yeah, its name is Zadie," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, right?" And then I'm thinking, "Wait a second, that's my grandfather's name." And this happened right after my grandfather passed away. That I met this bird, and that's when I fell in love with like birds of prey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, that's just a little bit. I'm not into the coincidence stuff and everything. I'm not like.
You are now.
But just figured that it was like 2 days after my grandfather passed away, and my wife was like, "What? Why don't you go down to the Canadian Raptor Conservancy and everything?" And the owner James brought this guy out to fly, and I was like, oh, "This bird's so nice and everything, and friendly," and it actually landed on the beak of my hat.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's his name again?" And he's like, "Zadie," and I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "How do you get that for a name of a bird?" And yeah, it's that was my grandfather's name. So
Wow.
this was the first bird where I actually like started being like, you know what, I love birds of prey.
Instantly fell in love. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Cool story behind that.
yeah.
And how it has a
Thanks.
personal relevance to your life. That's so cool.
It just so weird that it had like the same name because like I'm like thinking not many people are named sadie in Canada. Like
It's
a Polish
it's
name.
yeah, it's a very rare name. Yeah.
So, but
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Richard says love that coloring and also that background slash foreground is incredible. I agree.
Thanks, Richard.
I agree. Very cool. And this is at the Conservancy, right? This
Yes,
per-
this is at the Conservancy. This was actually this is about a week before I actually got my glove and took my apprenticeship with them.
Wow. Very cool. So,
So-
so that's how they do it. You get your glove. It's like getting your sword or yeah, or your ring.
Yeah. So you order your glove. It's like 3 different layers of leather. And,
Wow. That's really cool. Well, I'm gonna have a lot of fun following the Muskoka Raptor Conservancy and all of the news that you're gonna tell us about that because yeah, that's
we'll be up that way and give you guys some stuff to hand out and go up to the musher and put
awesome.
some stuff out. And I want to have like a friends day where I know people and they can come and check it out. Maybe throw the word around about it.
Yeah.
Just got to get since new to up here and this business is new to up here. It'd be nice to get some people to follow and come and all that. And
That's how it all works. Yeah, self promotion and networking, right?
yeah, that's something I got to get into. I might have to ask you about that.
Oh, hey, I'm happy to advise and provide tips and hints anytime.
Yep, awesome.
All right. So the next one here. Now, is this a snowy owl?
This is a snowy owl.
Uh-huh.
This is a male snowy.
Okay.
So, a lot of people, and Jen, when you take the photos of your owls, your snowies,
Mhm.
generally, are you calling them female because the spots on them, or do you know if they're female? Because of the spots or something.
I know the females do have spots on them, but also the young birds have spots on them.
Yeah.
And I think the males are pure white, but they could
Yeah.
have a few spots as well.
So the males and the females look identical for the first 8 years, and then the males go all white. The difference between a male snowy and a female snowy is the female is about 3 inches bigger, like all around. Like it's very
Yeah.
noticeable.
Oh.
And like if you saw them side by side, you'd be like, "How is this even the same species?" But they're. This is for instance, this bird is about 98% related to the great horned owl.
Mm-hmm.
It just moved north and blended in with its background.
That's
Which is white.
fascinating.
And it's the same thing with the polar bear. Polar bear is a descendant from the grizzly, just moved north, its fur changed.
That is fascinating.
That's how you pick up on that. I always thought every photo I took of snowies, I always thought that they were female until people would ask me, how do you know? Are there any ever males? Like, how does this thing just have lay eggs and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. When I find the answer, I'll tell you. So I found out. I was like, hey, why is this guy all white? I've never seen one of these barely see them in the wild, all white. There's where I used to go shoot them, never really saw an all white one.
Mm-hmm.
So I always thought, okay, so maybe it's the females that come down here. I don't know. But this is a male. This is out in the wild. The photo, I like the photo even though it does have a couple blowout spots in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I like is the actual shadow of the bird on the ground.
I was thinking that too.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like it was just one of those shots. Like it took a lot to edit. It was extremely blown out. Like besides the eyes, you wouldn't even know that there was an owl.
Whenever
It was one of those
you're shooting white on white, it's like
white on white with some bright sunny sky.
yeah, it's yeah,
It's like, what are you shooting at?
yeah, yeah.
Snow.
Well, good for you. Good for you for saving the photo despite the challenge. I mean, all the information is there. You just gotta process it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. And that's the thing. There's a certain person that shows you how to do everything, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, most of my, I like honestly my I owe Cowboy with a Camera like pretty much all the credit to how my photography turns out, because
Yeah.
he's the one who introduced me to Algonquin Park and introduced me to astrophotography and introduced me to actually how to hold the camera, shoot a camera, change my lens, do everything.
Wow.
So I've only became as good as I am because of how great he is. So
Wow.
most of my credibility of my photography goes to him.
Shout out to Cowboy with the Camera out there. Yeah, I mean, hey, like one of the great things about this community is the sharing of knowledge and the mentoring. And then, I mean, for a lot of people, it starts as a hobby, and then some people start a business, right? And you know, yeah, Cowboy with the Camera is one of those folks that has, you know, it's gone from hobby to business, and you know, that's how he makes his living, right? So,
Yep. Yeah,
It's-
yeah, man. And
yeah, you're like a protege.
you gotta you have to pay to go to university to learn something. You
Right.
gotta pay for college.
Yeah.
So technically, you have to pay for knowledge.
Yeah.
So when somebody knows what they're doing and charges you a certain amount of money to learn something, if it's worth it to you to learn it, it's worth it. It's worth the money,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what it is. And you know, it's a business. We're great friends, but if I don't know something, I'm not going to take advantage of that. I know it's his business,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I do. Wesley, I need help with this. Will you come to my house and show me how to edit?
Yeah.
How much will you charge me for an hour? Like per hour? That's all it is.
That's great.
Like,
Yeah.
like I don't. It's not like I'm friends with Steve. I don't go to the restaurant and eat for free.
Yeah. Of course. Of course. Yeah. 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 Of course. And I mean, hey, like,
Nice.
all of this knowledge will be so useful for when you start your own conservancy, because you can do all your own promotional photography because you know how to do that, right? And
Yeah.
and you'll be able to take great photos of all of the inhabitants at your sanctuary, right? So it's, you know, it's so valuable what
yeah.
what you've gathered over time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like these birds will all be here. I have a big pond. I'll have flying over ice, flying over open water, static shots. I'm in the middle of getting a shop built
Nice.
so I can have presentations in there and have people come and do education courses in there. Even people who are artists, if they just want to do like a static drawing of the birds and everything, like I'm open to whatever people want. I know a lot of artists who like to draw, and I'm one of them. So, hey,
Yeah. It's going to be so exciting.
I'm excited. I'm excited for up here to be up here.
Oh, yeah. Are you there right now, or are you in Guelph right now?
I am in Baysville right now, working on the property.
Excellent. That must feel good.
Oh, it feels great.
That feels
I
great.
know winter's coming.
Yes. Don't. First thing I learned is make sure you get everything off of your lawn, and just like random stuff. Like once you get a second snowfall, you just lose it all. So just make sure you get all your stuff out of the snow zones.
The first thing I did is I bought a tractor with a 52-inch snowblower on it.
Oh, good idea.
So
Good. That's good.
I
That
wasn't gonna push one. I got
yeah.
too much property. I
We
was like,
tried. Yeah, we tried, and we went from snow shoveling to snow thrower, or just a little snow blower to ATV plow. So that's where we are right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But and Richard has a comment here. Says I know a bunch of photographers that would be happy to, referring back to
Yeah.
meeting up with you to kind of do like the first promotional tours
Oh yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So
No,
no,
that'd
there's
be awesome.
definitely a lot of
That's-
people that are excited for you.
I know Richard's part of the. I think it's the Huntsville Photography Club and
Yep.
Muskoka
I think
Photography
you're
Club,
right.
So it's good to know somebody who's in the club.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, that concludes today's presentation, Birds in Flight, one of the most technical genres of wildlife photography. Ken, you were even saying how you had to go to the conservancy just to practice tracking them. And to learn their movements and everything like that. So yeah, thank you, Jen Howard, for your wonderful presentation, and Ken McCormick as well. Just exceptional birds in flight photos. Very, very cool. Steve Dunsford, are you out there?
I am here.
Hey, Steve. Any do you have any comments about today's presentations?
Oh, they're amazing. I love birds in flight too. The photos that we saw tonight kind of make it look like it's easy thing to do, and it's like as anyone who tries, it's like 1,000 shots you take, and then you get one good one maybe. It's like
And it's
you
all
get the
worth
tail,
it.
or you get you get the one wing, or it's like, oh shoot, missed that, and it's not that easy. And so those shots were both Ken's and Jen's are very impressive, very amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even a blue jay's hard to photograph.
Yeah.
Impossible. A grouse, a bird that sits in a tree 90% of the time. It's just so. Sometimes they're just so hard to get photos of. Like, people really don't understand. Like, Jen's wildlife, your photos are like crazy good. Like, just to be out there and to spot them, to find them, and to be ready, to have your settings and to be ready just to snap like that. It's like, that's unbelievable. That's a skill. That is a crazy skill. I'm still learning that skill.
I've done this for over 30 years. Plus, I've done all the different surveys, and when you're doing surveys, you kind of get a little bit of photography in there too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
That's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've only been photographing birds for the last 6 years, and it's helped me out in the wild trying to get, like, I got a woodcock like last year on Opiongo, and it was still one of the hardest birds. All it was doing was dancing.
Yeah. That dance is legendary, though.
Yeah.
It is legendary.
Yeah.
I should have recorded it instead of took a photo.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Well, yeah. So Howl coming up pretty soon, November 3, 4, and 5. We're going to have some exceptional photographers at the show. Johnny Marriott, Jillian A. Brown, Samantha Stevens. We have an Indigenous educator, Christine Lucas-Savage, and then a Black Bear Sanctuary bear with us, all forming our all-star lineup at Howl to promote ethical wildlife photography, mindful behavior when you're out there in the wild, in nature. And we're really trying to spread the good word about just being kind to the environment, being kind to each other, and just to be good people. But still, believing in conservation and helping keep these beautiful animals alive and letting them thrive so that we can enjoy them for decades to come, for generations, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Any parting comments from you, Steve?
We've been getting a few ticket sales lately, which is awesome, and there still are some tickets available if anyone wants to join us for this year's Howl, just go on to our website and the link is there. It'll take you to the sign up page, and really hope that we can that we see you this year. And it is going to be it's our third one, and it's going to be exciting and a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it definitely will. Awesome. All right, everybody, we're going to sign off here. Thank you very much, Jen Howard. Thank you very much, Ken McCormick. And we will see you all later.
All right.
See you later.